And for the boy child, he's told that his power lies in putting the women, subjugating the girl. We all have been programmed into error. We all have been programmed in error. We have been culturally hypnotized. I think I'm permitted to use these words because that is the only explanation why someone who is nice, someone who is kind, someone who is good would be behaving a certain way. Because nurture supersedes nature. When you're nurtured a certain way, the way you reason, the way you perceive life also will be influenced by who nurtured you. And these were questions I was asking to know why people behaved the way they do. We all have been. So while we grew, while we were infant, surprisingly in my study about this whole thing, asking these questions, I found out that, yes, as a child, you come into the world, you don't know anything, or you are filled with infinite possibilities, and that's why babies are always smiling unless they are hungry. But then, as you grow, you begin to learn from your parents, from your peers. So gradually, you begin to be programmed. I remember as a child, not really as a child, about 12 years old, yes, I was at home and I had just had my bath and I came into the house and my mom's friend was there. And she told my mom, because I was about dressing up, she said, wow, your daughter is ripening. Very soon in-laws will start bringing wine and they would take her. And this one is like, she will be a good market because she's really beautiful. And that moved something in me that day because I began to wonder, is my life finished just when I get married? Is that the highest degree I'll have to achieve? Is that the limit to my highest dreams? And these questions I was asking, I began that time at 12 to monitor why, the things that happen, how my kid brother will be favored most of the time. And then most people, both neighbors and our peers then will tell him, you're a man, beat her. If she talks to you, beat her. And I can imagine the influence this on the boy child and then the influence it has on the girl child. That it's almost as if it's natural. Girl child grows. Even if you want to be big, you can't be bigger than the man around you. But if really our society has to grow and get to the level of, developed countries, I think we need to answer these questions. And that's the reason why we are here. That the girl child naturally grow to begin feeling small. And the boy from childhood, because he said, beat her, she doesn't have to talk to you, she's a girl, even if he's older than you, begin to feel that, yes, that quest for external power. And what makes me powerful is when I put her down. But I think that the reverse is the case. When you make her powerful, you are seeking for the true power, which is internal power. Imagine children and grandchildren. It feels you can't cater for your children because the child belongs to another man. In one videos I watched, as the single parents were sending in the videos, one of them were expressing how she felt. The parents told her, since this man is run away, you have to take those children back to him because it belongs to him. We will have nothing to do with that. So you can imagine how much we reject our children. Do they even have to be our children, our biological children? But you see what I mean by cultural hypnosis, that even the parents don't recognize that the child of your daughter is your own child, and that if you raise that child well, that child will grow to serve humanity. That child will grow to be useful for our society. And I forgive our parents because they do this unconsciously. And this is what is being passed on from their parents to our parents, on and on and on. to gather these women and build a community for them, it is simply because I want to break that cycle. I don't want my children to grow with such. I want us to be reprogrammed. I want us to begin to see life in another perspective. I want us to be open to forgive our parents and forgive ourselves for the wrong decisions we've made and realize that, yes, we can make a change. And making a change doesn't have to be sitting at home. You have to participate somehow. From your home, from the decisions you make daily, you have to participate and question what goes all around. In Lagos State alone, we have about, according to the deputy governor in one of the conferences, he said that we have about 1.1 million single mothers in Lagos State alone. So you can imagine other states, how it is. So if this number is increasing and these women have children, what are we really doing? What are we doing? Because if we do not care for these women that take care of these children, if we do not support them emotionally, a child who is 5 will be 20 years. And what would be the future of that child if we really say that children are the leaders of tomorrow? So have a place in our society, that their children are part of our society, that their children are truly the leaders of tomorrow, and they should be taken care of. Like I shared with some friends the past few days, that yes, I might not have much financial assistance, and I wish I can do it all, but then lending my ear and listening to her will make a difference. And if I have, I will give. If I have people who join me, I will gather and I will give. And together we will get somewhere. This morning, a single mom woke me up at about 5 a.m. and she sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I was proud of myself because I listened to her. And for me, she told me, it's not just about the money. It's the fact that somebody recognized that, yes, I am going through something, that yes, I exist. So this is why we are here. How can a mother advise her daughter to take her children back to the father and move on, if not because erroneous cultural beliefs is involved? These children didn't bargain to be born. Why should they be abandoned and made to feel rejected, not only by their parent, but by the society? Why is this? Beautiful and innocent children. Look at my children. Though they look nothing like what we've been through, they've become my handbags. They've become my husbands. They've become the joy that I have every day waking up. And funny thing, in our Facebook group, most of the women who were joining the group, each time you ask them, why do you want amazing thing going on? They say, my children. Just looking at their face every day give me strength. And I can relate to that. Could we really be so callous to reject our own, our future, our tomorrow? In the Western world, in developed countries, they pay so much attention on children, how they grow, what is put into them, how you handle them. Are we really ignoring our children? Are we really ignoring the fact that even if we love these children, that the mothers, the women who take care of these children need to be catered for? And I don't mean just financially, I mean even psychologically. There are so many people battling with mental health and depression. They are almost lost because of what they are going through. Can we really lend a voice? So when I look into the eyes of these women, all I see is pain. It's pain. It's betrayal. Imagine walking down the aisle. Imagine the promises. And imagine finding yourself alone, raising children, and asking why. Though I hear a lot of people say, why me? Why not you? Maybe it happened to me so that I can ask the questions I'm asking now and bring about a change we all have been waiting for. These apparent social and human evils seem to stem from the fact that men have always led the narrative about the human story. Perhaps it's time for women and good men to change the narrative. When women are the storytellers, the human story would definitely change. Yes, the time has come for us women and men of courage to stand for what is right and speak up. You don't have to fight those who dehumanize you. No. All we need is to stay focused so that we can bring the change we want. Don't forget that cultures don't ever change because people are ready. They change because brave people make them ready. So I guess we are all brave here. And I know that all the people connecting online via Zoom, everybody who's called to support this movement is because they want to change. And we want to make it happen. We won't wait for it to happen. We won't wait for it to be ready. We'll make it ready. A woman doesn't need a degree or a special training to know that it is her responsibility to care and nurture her children as against walking out on the children as many men do today. You don't have to hold a degree. You don't have to go to conferences or trainings for you to know that, man, things are not moving well and I have to take responsibility for my children. Hardly will you see a mother walk out on her child. And you look at so many people, so many men walk out on children. They're okay, they stay for years. They don't care. They don't bother about their fees, about what they eat, where they sleep. But these women will be with these children under the sun, under the rain. And I think that makes us stand in the right position to tell the story better. We have experts in different fields in our country who can engage these women and empower them. So I call on everyone, both physically here and those joining online via Zoom, to support and encourage these women in any little way you can. It could be a word of advice, it could be a suggestion on a business, or a business skill, whatever you can, please support these women. Our greatest challenge in forming this community for these single mothers is that there are so many of them that don't have smartphones to connect with our community online, to learn and grow. I was in Abuja a few weeks ago, and most of the women don't even have smartphones to join our community because we have a Facebook group where they come in and then we can communicate. They can talk. They can express how they feel. They can get legal advice. They can get whatever they want. At least knowing that they have a tribe, a family they can cry to, they can talk to, and get the support they need. If they need counseling, they'll get that. If they need therapy, whatever they need, we will give that. So that they begin to build themselves again. Because it's not just about the money. We talked about giving 50,000 naira for 10 single mothers. We talked about giving a lot of financial support. It's not just about that. Because if you give a woman who is not in her right senses money, within 2 days it's gone. And I hope that when the person goes through leadership training, goes through counseling, and begins to work on herself, she will handle finances better. Dear single moms here, and those joining us online, there are some incidents that happen in your life. Those incidents break you and deform you. But it is in your power to use them to mold you into the best version of you. People will see your disability, but you have to see your ability. This is my story. I was 23 years old when I got married. It was never a happy marriage. Even though, like most ladies, I gave the impression to onlookers that everything was okay. In the 8 years that supposed marriage lasted, in the 8 years that the supposed marriage lasted, in the 8 years that the supposed marriage lasted, I lost my passion, I lost my voice, and I lost myself. But through all of the pain and hurt of that 8 years of a deceitful union, I found the truest version of myself. Each and every moment, every hurt that I went through was pushing me to reach my fullest potentials. I had this personal conviction that I was born for greatness, that I'm born for greatness and nothing can change it. And I think that's the reason why I'm still standing here, because I would have died 4 years ago. I didn't have a reason to live. The only beautiful thing that I could see is these 3 amazing boys. The pain and the hurt bettered the new me you see today. The day I stood up to the deceit was the day my freedom from our collective cultural hypnosis began. All through the dark period of my life, I may have lost everything, but I never lost faith in the fact that I was born for greatness and nothing can change that. That's what I say to you. And within this period, I wrote a song, and that song I want to play for you at the end of my address. Because I want you to know that, yes, you might be deeply hurt, but continue to see the brighter side of life. I chose to write songs. I chose to write poems. I chose to write books, even when it was tough. Because I wondered that standing here today, I can remind myself that, yes, tears last only for the night, but joy comes in the morning. I celebrate my birthday today, thanking God for what he has done for me, what he has made of my life. I am thankful for those that stood by me and shone the light as I walked through the midnight of my dissolution. My darkest moments when all seemed lost and gone. I made a pledge to God during those desert moments, those dark nights of my pilgrimage through life, that I will support and assist other single mothers to go on and to stand when I am out of the wilderness of my lostness. And I think the look in my face doesn't seem like I'm still in the wilderness. So I am fulfilling the promise I made to God today. Today, as I celebrate my birthday, I fulfill this pledge and I ask other single mothers amongst us that they are apparently better off to reach out our hand of fellowship and help uplift our sisters and their children abandoned, scorned, forgotten, and rejected. There are so many single moms who are doing very well. And I call on you, you know how it was. You know how down and out you were. It's time for us to stand, hold your hand, and move forward. No one must be left out to suffer alone. We will suffer together. We are more human when no one feels excluded. I call on everyone else, men and women of goodwill, to join me in this crusade and campaign for single mothers and their children. There is no gainsayer that Single mothers face huge personal, economic, and social challenges. The civil society cannot ignore, for it is general and common good. We have to do this. It's our responsibility. The children, if not catered and provided by mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually balanced and empowered mothers, turn out to be a nuisance to society. And we wouldn't want to have that. It is our collective social responsibility to proffer solutions and engage not only in public discourse like this, but in actions that would effectively deal with this threat to our peace and social welfare. With these thoughts, I open today the floor. I welcome everyone once again. Let the discourse begin. Let our thoughts begin to be active. Please, before we start, can we play the video of the single mothers? And then the song I wrote while I was down and out.
All right, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, just trying to put one or two touches to do. We've just been informed that the Honorable Minister is on and would like to make our own impact. So the video and the song, as composed by the convener, will come up later. So would like to welcome the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs. Please join me, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Dame Pauline Tallinn. Please put your hands together. She's joining us on Zoom. Yes, we are set to receive the Honorable Minister. So our technical team, please, let's have a feel of our presence. And of course, she'll be given a keynote address. Who best fits into this role than the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs? Because what we're talking about today is a mother's perspective. And when we say a mother's perspective, we're talking about single parenting. While the Honorable Minister is addressing us, our technical team, please, will appeal to you to help sequence properly the song and the video, which will come up later. we're experiencing some technical issues with those joining us on Zoom. So we will take the video. As soon as that is sorted, then we have the minister come up to talk to us on Zoom. So just focus on the screen and have a feel of what the convener has said earlier.
I believe and I will be glad if I receive any help from and I will be glad if I receive any help and I will be glad if I receive.
Hi, good evening. I'm Margaret. Good evening. I'm Margaret. I have a boy. I'm Margaret. I have a boy. I'm Margaret. I have
And also, I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive. I believe and I will be glad if I receive.
Dear friends, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, shame that I cannot be physically present because I so very, very much wanted to be. But other commitments take me dear friends, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor, a privilege to be able to join you at this single parents conference. It's a shame that I cannot be physically present because I so very, very much wanted to be. But other commitments take me out of Lagos. I would have wanted to come live via Zoom, but with the unpredictability of these media, sometimes even bandwidth challenges in our country. And so I've chosen to leave a message, and I don't mind still joining in some manner and some form as we get to Q&A. But I think that this is such an important conference, something that we don't pay enough attention to in our society. My team at CVL, I recall how many times I have spoken at our meetings through the years about the phenomenon described as the phenomenon of the deadbeat dad. For about 30 years now, I have been very, very involved with the widow support program. And that initiative of working with poor widows, challenged widows, started because on my return to Nigeria in 1982, I faced an unexpected from someone that I knew well who was dying and was worried about the fate that his wife would face if he passed. And indeed, every fear he had manifested. So I took interest very, very early of widows and began to work to do something about it. In that process, I came to be aware of much more than just what happened to widows. I came to be aware of a phenomenon that is enormously troubling in our country. This is a phenomenon of the deadbeat dad, men who walk away, literally walk away from their families and pay no heed, pay no attention, and leave a woman who is usually less materially able to carry on with the business of raising the children that they have both born. I, in some cases, have been brought to great sadness to observe the lives that many women lead, the struggles, the pain, the anguish, the effort to raise children, where the man who's responsible is irresponsibly or carelessly carrying on not too far away, doing that which is really sometimes reprehensible, but sometimes just a shame because of the lack of care. And I find many times, very sadly, that in a natural way, as the children grow up, they begin to ask after their father and all of that. But I've seen a few bitter children, very bitter, who don't want to have anything to do with such fathers. But it's not about what the children think about their fathers now. It's about what damage is being done to our society by this phenomenon. Many, many societies have found ways to deal with this matter. We, unfortunately for us, are caught in transition from an old order where values led society to sanction it in different ways, the behavior of men and women, and to get people to leave their responsibility. The clansmen will get together and sanction the man for not living up to his responsibility and all of that. As we move from that, way of doing things into a new order, the new order is not yet well established. In some societies that have been quote-unquote modern, there are laws that are very, very, very clear and are implemented stoutly by public authorities. In the United States of America, they hunt down deadbeat dads. Courts, impose penalties, impose expectations of behavior from people whose marriages have broken down or whatever may have happened. But we don't have a system functioning quite that well. We don't have a fallback system for women to run to for protection with their children when they face challenges. And this cannot continue. Because one of the things that happen to children, and this came to me very clearly in the work that I've tried to do with widows, is that the loss of the presence of the man in the home is a huge enough hit. Even in the United States and countries like that, where the law still compel the men to behave in certain ways in terms of meeting their obligations to the children, the fact of single parenting alone is significantly responsible for changing social behavior patterns. I give you an example. There is a U.S. magazine, U.S. News and World Report, which for many years, going back to the, I guess, probably 40s, have conducted an annual survey of what the most unacceptable behavior of children in schools were. And in the 50s, you ask teachers, what's the most terrible thing that happens here? The students talking out of turn, that is somebody trying to speak when they has not been asked to speak or she has not been asked to speak. Or chewing gum in class. Those were the kind of typical huge problems. Well, by the 90s, it was bringing guns to school, shooting another student for a pair of sneakers, and, you know, pregnancy was more routine for 15-year-olds, and so on and so forth. And one of your efforts to understand how this has evolved, the most critical factor identified was the absence of a man in the family. The structure of the American family, as it began to break down, was having this impact on discipline. But in working with widows, what I found, of course, is that the authority figure of the man being absent and the economic power that the man has, giving him authority in his home, being reduced as the single parent struggles. Very often children are not as, well, obedient, if you will, or easy to be guided as that. In fact, it led me to introduce in the Widow Support Program phenomenon, if you want to call it that, or an initiative, better still, where we had mentors of families. The idea was that these mentors would, in a manner of speaking, become substitute fathers. And in being substitute fathers, facilitate an authority figure. The man can make a call to help when the child needs to get admission into school, the man who can rebuke a child that's getting wayward. If you know how much this kind of thing can do to prevent children from becoming miscreants, then you will find that, you know, the place of new arrangements with single parenting is very, very important. And so my hope is that as this conference runs, that we find a number of initiatives to hold on to, amongst them those of holding spouses accountable for their children on both sides, those of holding the family together. The family is such an important unit of society. Society suffers so much when the family breaks down. Third, a way of ensuring that if things do eventually break down, that everybody is aware of their responsibility to those children who did not ask to be born, but both of you decided to have that child, how both of you are made responsible and accountable for the well-being of those children. I think that this will help us to begin to navigate a new course. And very importantly, finally, values shape human progress. The reason the human race has made progress is because certain values have girded how men have responded. I think that our sense of community deriving from those values should enable us begin to, if you will, influence culture, shape culture, such that culture is sensitive to the weak, the vulnerable, the child that is there without the appropriate parenting, and very, very clearly instilling consciousness that the very first duty of parents is the education of their children. The late Pope John Paul II, in one of his very important encyclicals to my mind, Abhorrent Exercens, makes this very critical point about parents being the first teachers of their children. Whatever it is that is happening in the state of the family, we have to find a way of not only reinstating but instating, if not already stated, the role of parents as the first teachers of their children. Society must make parents really be the true educators who make their children's future what they desire for it to be and what society needs for it to be. I wish you happy deliberations, and I look forward to good outcomes from this meeting. Thank you, and God bless you.
For value in leadership, CVR. Professor, we thank you and we appreciate you for that impact you've just made. Our next resource person will take to the microphone. It's so unique to observe that the emphasis is on a mother's perspective, but now we're taking another male resource person after Professor Pat Othomi. Please join me to welcome Dr. Jibril Abdul Malik. Dr. Jibril Abdul Malik is a consultant psychiatrist and founder at CEDO Foundation. Let's make it resounding, please.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would crave your indulgence to just stand on the existing protocol and just to wish the celebrant and founder of Jubicare Foundation a very happy birthday, and to give her kudos for putting this event together. It's mother's perspective, but I'm here in my capacity as a professional, as a mental health professional, to look at the perspective with respect to the emotional impact and the way forward. Now, if you listen to the stories, some of them are very apparent and straightforward. The fact that there will be an emotional component to single parenthood. Now, before I proceed, let me just quickly establish a premise here. And that premise is that we remember from biology in secondary school that the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. What this definition means is that health is like a stool that sits on 3 legs. So you have health sitting on these 3 legs. One leg is physical health. The second leg is your mental health. The third leg is your social health. We all tend to pay attention to our physical health. If you have diarrhea and you are running to the bathroom every 5 minutes, nobody will tell you to look for the nearest chemist. But our mental health, our social well-being, that is what we do not pay as much attention to. But it's important for us to appreciate that these 3 components of health are closely interwoven and interrelated, and indeed they affect one another. I usually give an example of a young doctor I knew about 15 years ago. He was traveling from the city to his village to visit his aged mother, and his vehicle somersaulted. He had an injury. He damaged his spinal cord at the level of the neck. And you know that our brain controls everything we do. And that brain communicates with the rest of our body via the spinal cord, which passes through our backbone down to our waist. And then we have nerves leaving the spinal cord to power our hands, power our legs, so we can move. So when he damaged his spinal cord at the level of the neck, The consequence was that from his neck downwards became paralyzed. Was a young man of 35, newly married, with one child and a fresh bride of 2 years. That's a physical injury, is that not so? That's a physical health problem. Deriving from that realization that he has suddenly become paralyzed for life, because spinal cord is not something we repair. If it's damaged, it's damaged. There's no spare part. It cannot be replaced. You cannot do transplant of spinal cord. So he realized that he's going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. Not surprisingly, he became depressed. So you see that from a physical injury, a physical health problem, he developed what? A mental health complication. He became depressed. A few years down the line, the wife left him. That's a social complication. For you to appreciate what I'm describing here, it means that he cannot feed himself. He cannot lift a finger. If he wants to poo-poo, they will bring a bedpan and lift his waist up. If he wants to wee-wee, they will bring a small kettle and help him put his genitals into it so he can urinate into it. He was that helpless, couldn't do anything for himself. But yet his eyes were open and he could speak. So in a nutshell, what I'm illustrating here is that the three components of health are closely interdependent. So physical health affects our mental health, which affects our social health. How about if you have a social issue? If you have a social issue, for instance, as a single parent or as a spouse in an abusive marriage, that's a social issue, right? But that social issue will predispose you to developing depression, which is a mental health problem. May predispose you to developing high blood pressure, that's hypertension, which is a physical health problem. So you see that all of these three components are very closely interrelated. How about the mental health challenges of single parenthood? And when we talk about single parenthood generally, it may be a man, even though we know the majority are usually females, as high as 80% are usually females. But it could also be a man either through death of his spouse or illness, cancer, and so on and so forth. The common things that emotional experience includes feelings of inadequacy. Where did I go wrong? Is it I'm not good enough to maintain my husband or my family and keep it together? Am I so inadequate? Am I not good enough? Feelings of doubt, feelings of low self-esteem, anxiety, commonly depression. And all of these problems become compounded by loneliness, isolation, emotional exhaustion, emotional and physical. I mean, our celebrant, the founder today, was mentioning earlier when her son was screaming for her attention even when she was giving a speech. You know, if you have two partners, if you can't go for PTA meeting today, you say, darling, honey, please, can you help me represent me at the family, at the PTA meeting? Can you please do this? So you sort of share responsibilities. And the weight is not overwhelming for one person. But when you are the only one, you clean the house, you repair, go and buy gas, repair generator, go for PTA, everything. You are the risk of physical and emotional exhaustion and burnout. It's not helped in our environment by the fact that we have a lot of societal stigma. Look at her. If she was irresponsible and she would still be in her husband's house. People are not interested. We are very judgmental. And we are not interested in reading behind the lines to understand the context or the story. And even when there is a lot of abuse, don't forget that abuse is not just physical beating. It can be emotional abuse. It can be psychological abuse, where someone makes you feel that you are nothing. You are not good enough. You step to the left, that's not good. You step to the right, that's not good. You remain in one place. Why are you staying in one space? What that does to you is that psychologically it destroys your sense of self-esteem. And you begin to question every judgment that you make in life. And that is also, that's emotional and psychological abuse. So it's not just when a spouse is beating the other spouse that there is abuse. Abuse is of various categories. But our society is very intolerant, very quick to judge and condemn without listening to the story. And what I usually say, because I've been practicing as a psychiatrist now for about 17 years, and in that period of time, I've seen so many cases that have resulted in the death of a spouse. A woman I knew was depressed because the husband was always beating her. At a point, he beat her, stripped her naked, and sent her out of the house. And she went back to her family. Her family sent her back to the husband's house. Until the day the man beat her and killed her, leaving behind 4 children that were then farmed out to relatives, where I can excuse me, where I can bet my salary that those children are working as houseboys and housegirls. Because without a mother's love and care, nobody will care for a child like a mother, even with the best of intentions. Even your own biological sister will not be like the biological mother of a child. So what I tell people in our society, and the message I want us to take away, is that if a marriage is not working, it's better, and I'm happy Reverend Father is here, religious institutions frown on marriage dissolution, but they allow it in exceptional circumstances. Because if you do not allow it, you come back to officiate at the funeral of one of the victim. And we don't want, I'm sure Reverend Father will not want to come and officiate at the funeral ceremony of a woman that was beaten to death by her husband, especially if he knew previously that they were having challenges. So it's better to walk away, stay alive, look after yourself, than to die and end up leaving orphaned children. I would very quickly also mention that there are also emotional consequences on the children from such homes. We need to be aware of this and protect the children from these emotional consequences. Some of them include feeling guilty. Was it my fault? Was it because of me that mommy and daddy are no longer together? It occurs to them. They also feel a lot of resentment, sometimes fleeting, hopefully, towards parents, even one that is looking after them now. Why couldn't you make it work? Why can't our family be like my other friends in school? Why am I the one that does not have a father figure in the picture? So all of these emotions go through the minds of children. You're welcome. Now, they also have a lot of anger, frustration at themselves, at the whole world, because they feel unfairly dealt with. In rounding up, because I don't want to take too much of our time, we still have a lot of other speakers ahead, I would just want to conclude by offering some tips that may be very helpful for single parents, single mothers who are having to deal with these challenges. The first tip is this. You know, when you are traveling in a plane, and they say in the event of turbulence or anything, you know, oxygen mask will drop. What should you do? Take your own first and fit it before you even help your own child or your own baby. Because if you lose consciousness because you are out of oxygen, you won't be able to help your baby. So put your own mask first. So my first tip is, please pay attention to yourself. Don't burn out physically and emotionally. Number 2, make sure that you invest in having a social support system. That is the backbone. You need, every human being needs someone to lean on from time to time. There is nobody that is superhuman. All of us need a pillar to lean on during your weak moments. Invest in making sure that you have a social support to provide that pillar for you. The third tip is, please, and I beg very passionately, avoid unburdening too much responsibilities on children. Don't rob them of the innocence of their childhood. Don't make them mature, responsible adults too early. It's not helpful. You may break them. In life, you develop strength and resilience before you carry certain weights. Like a weightlifter, professional weightlifter carrying weight, you start from small ones. Then you get to bigger as your muscles get bigger. So if you unburden a lot of, and that is the easy way out because there's no adult person in the picture to ventilate, to talk, so you end up pouring out to the children. As much as possible, please moderate it. Don't overburden them with too many adult responsibilities. Let them enjoy their childhood and play carefree. That innocence, don't rob them of it. Again, as much as possible, resist the temptation to tell them, drown them overwhelmingly in how irresponsible their father was or is. Because it then makes them torn between the devil and the deep blue sea. They love you. You are their mother. You are caring for them. You are doing so much for them. They appreciate it. But many of these children, decades down the line, will go look for their father. And you don't want to poison their minds. Don't get me wrong, and I'm speaking here as a professional, not as a man, so that you don't say it's because I'm biased. It's for their emotional well-being that you don't cost them internal turmoil and not knowing what to do, when to do, how to do it, who to take sides, more or less, because more or less you are recruiting them to take sides. That's not to say that you shouldn't point out what is irresponsible, that is bad, that this is not the way to behave, especially if they are male children, so that when they grow up, they don't also behave that way. Okay? Please bond very closely with your children. And I'm very happy that Uju mentioned that earlier. And most single parents do that. Bond very closely with them so that they don't feel, especially when they are below the age of 10, we don't want them to feel deprived of love and affection and feel that nobody cares. We don't want that. So please bond, show them a lot of love and affection. But as they hit puberty and teenage years, growing up, begin to give them some space. Okay? Let them mature to stand on their own feet and come to you for advice when they need it. Have honest conversations with them. And in having honest conversations with them, admit your own faults. If I had known this earlier, I may not have done this. Right? Because no human being, including the person holding the microphone, is a saint. All of us, we are in therapy, in psychotherapy, we say that every human being is damaged goods. All of us, without exception. It's just that the extent of damage that we have differs from person A to person B. So when you focus on building yourself, it's doing introspection to know your faults, know your flaws, and compensate. So have honest conversations with them. Lastly, your life should not treat children alone. You must have an independent life because the children are watching you. They are watching you. And they are going to grow and leave you anyway, whether you like it or not. It's a natural cycle of life. They are going to grow, go to university, want to get married, and have their own life. So as much as possible, you want to shower them with love, spend a lot of time with them, but don't allow your entire life be built around, oh, it's because of... Because when you do that a lot and you say it to their hearing, they also begin to feel guilty. That is because of us that mommy is sacrificing this. It's because of us that mommy is doing this. And you don't want them to be feeling guilty for you showing them love. So it's a fine balance. But keep that at the back of your mind as you plan your life to ensure that you do have a life, to ensure that you give them a little space and you don't end up making them feel guilty that you are making so many sacrifices because of them. You are not doing anything because of them. It's like a two-edged sword. And children are very smart. Even children of 3, 4, 5 years are smart beyond what we give them credit for. And if they internalize the message, they may misunderstand it to say, oh, I'm the barrier that is not allowing mommy have a successful career because she's sacrificing everything for me. And that's not the message you are trying to pass across. So let's just keep that at the back of our mind. So ultimately, please let us pay attention to our health holistically. Remember the WHO definition of health I started with. Physical health, mental health, and social health. Pay attention to your social well-being. Make sure you have a social support system. Friends, family that you can lean on when things are tough. Your emotional health, pay attention to it. If you are depressed or having emotional problems, please see a therapist, see a psychiatrist. Make sure you receive therapy you need. And we'll work with the Jubi Care Foundation, because the Acido Foundation, which I founded, is a mental health advocacy organization. And what we do is that we have a team of experts, psychiatrists, clinical psychologists. We have a helpline, and we offer therapy for free via the phone across the country. So as Jubi Care offers support and all of this, if you have individuals who are going through emotional trauma, emotional difficulties, and they need to speak to someone, the guarantee we give you is that you'll be speaking to a therapist who is certified, not just anybody, you know. So that quality will be guaranteed, and we can offer that for free because we are offering it for free anyway as our contribution to our nation's well-being. So on behalf of myself and the Acido Foundation, I say thank you very much for inviting us, and kudos to you for the amazing work you are doing, and wish you a very happy birthday and many more fulfilling and successful years of impact in the future. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Jibril Abdulmalik. We appreciate you. Thank you. And please, one more time, let's put our hands together for him. Yes, we're going to the next speaker, and it's so saddening to note this. Please, somebody's phone is missing. If at all you found it, on behalf of the owner, please, would like you to help us. Just reach out to me. Your identity will not, of course, be disclosed. If you found it, on behalf of the owner, we need you to please help us out. Please, no one would like this to happen to him or her, having left your home and your other duties. And it's also saddening to know that it's one of the media personnel that have come to cover our story that this has happened to. So we Swelly. Please, let's put our hands together for her. I keep echoing it. Make it resounding. Make it resounding.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Uju's not here for me to wish her a rousing happy birthday, and especially for this initiative that she has started. I pray that it will go places because it's very much needed in our world. My topic is one that every woman knows about. And there's nothing I'm going to say now that if you're a woman or you're someone who has a sister that you haven't heard her complain. My topic is stigmatization and denial of dignity to single mothers. I want to say that it goes beyond single mothers, that the problem we have is not only about single mothers, but has to be seen within the general context of women. The last speaker spoke about physical, mental, and social. Those are three key areas that we operate. But what we have noticed is that most women struggle, first of all, with all three. Things are changing, but let me say that just within a context, I'll tell you two stories. The first story is a girl who isn't married at 40. And the stigmatization because she's single. There is single, then there is single mother. So she's stigmatized because she's single. When will you marry? As if she will go around the streets begging men to marry her. And so the wickedness of such questions is lost on women themselves, who are often the perpetrators of this kind of stigmatization. And it's high time we tell each other that the people who look down on single people is the women who are married. And this is one thing we must start with ourselves. And I hope Joe will point this out. In many ways, we are enemies of our own progress. I have found that there's a lot of emphasis on women empowerment, women empowerment, women empowerment. A great work, but we have not found out addressing. Just as we look at physical health, mental health, and social health, there is also, on the other side, physical capital, mental capital, and social capital. You know about physical capital, the houses you have, the cars you have, the money you have. In many areas, women are down in this. So if you are a woman with no children and a single woman, you may be okay. You may be now a graduate, you have money, you have that, you have the other, you have your own house. But we need to begin to teach women that we have to start learning to save. We have to start learning to build physical capital. Many of us, our physical capital are in perishable things. Even in marriage, women spend their money on perishable. There is also emotional capital. And the funny thing is, women have a lot of it. This is where we're wealthy. We are attachment-oriented, the same thing as in social capital. We're attachment-oriented. We seek to attach to others. We seek to be friends with others. We seek to be in community. We are best when we're in community. But guess what? Do we use it? No. If there is mental health, there is mental capital. What is mental capital? Mental capital are the capacities you have to express your emotions. How do you communicate? Many of us, because we're emotional, we carry our emotional stresses into the capital and erode our capital. So you want to talk about something that's annoying you to a boyfriend. You just go on and you don't think about it. Just go on. You don't check things. You don't look out for what is your interest. You want to get married, but you want to get married at any cost without checking about your mental health. Marry any bastard as long as I marry. And then you marry the bastard and you find that he's a real bastard. And so women do not have an hierarchy of needs in terms of emotional capital. We have a lot of emotion, but zigzagging everywhere. We don't call it to order and say, what is in my interest? There are 4 feeling groups in all these feelings that women have. Anger, fear, sadness, and happiness. Notice that of these 4 major human feelings, 3 are negative and toxic. 1 is the only joyful one. What choices do women make for their mental health? They make choices that make them afraid, that make them angry, and that make them sad. They make the choices. This is not to say, first of all, why I'm saying this is that so often, if we give others the power to determine who we are, we remain slaves of them. And so we need to take the power back to ourselves. Empowerment is not something that comes from the outside. It's something that comes from the inside, like what Joe is doing now, is to sit down and say, I'm getting out of this. What what capital do I have mentally? I refuse to be in a place where I am sad, where I am angry, where I am afraid. It's a personal choice. So when you see a man that is not meeting your needs, you do not question him. You don't challenge anything he says. And then as he's telling you these stories, you are listening, you are agreeing, you are following him. When you enter into it, because you are running away from one stigmatization, they say I'm not married, so let me run in and get married. So I run in and get married. I have created double dose of the stigmatization because I now can't get out. It is not the church that makes people stay in a bad marriage. It is the women. I'm a counselor. I've counseled for 38 years. Hmm? I didn't hear you. Huh? I can't hear you. You have to write it down. I'm not wearing my hearing aid. I'm not supposed to talk on this?
No. The minister is focused on she wants to speak.
Who's going to speak?
Who? The minister.
So I should stop now?
Just pause the meeting so that
Okay. I have to pause now. I think someone else is coming on.
The minister wants to talk briefly before we continue. Yeah. She had other meetings. She had been waiting before it because we're not ready.
Okay, she's here now. She's on the...
Thelma, please, you're live now. Can you speak?
We welcome the minister, Mrs. Pauline Tellen, Minister of Women Affairs. You can go on now.
Perfect. Thank you. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
I want to sincerely apologize for getting the last speaker, the marriage counselor, Dr. Mrs. Bridget, I guess, for stopping her to enable me to come in. I commend her for the beautiful presentation so far. First, I want to start by commending the Jubicare Foundation for this first Nigerian Single Parent Annual Conference that is taking place today. I commend you for initiating this process and to lend my voice to encourage my sisters that are single parents. It is clear that we have choices in life. Some people are not meant to marry. Some are lucky to be married and be happily married. Some fall into difficult situations. And if you find yourself in such situation and you have children, the best thing you need to do is to remember that you need to stay healthy and strong enough to take care of your child. Marriage is not the last option in life. I encourage you to stay strong and take care of yourself when you find yourself in such situations. I have so many successful single mothers that have brought up their children. The choice is yours. Don't allow anyone to send you early to your grave. Don't give up on life because a man decides to frustrate you or decides to destroy your life or decides to make life miserable for you. I thank the marriage counselor for doing a good job to encourage single mothers and to counsel them not to give up hope in life. I commend the organizers of this conference, and I commend my dear sister Uju and all your team for the good work you are doing in order to give hope to single mothers. Congratulations. Stay strong. Stay happy. Believe that you can stand by your children and make them what they can be in life. Marriage is not the final option, and it's not all and all that can make you happy. The issue of stigmatization because you are not married is not the all and all in life. You rather stay happy and healthy rather than forcing yourself into a marriage that is not worth living. Once again, I commend you for organizing this conference at a very critical time in the nation's history and the calendar of gender-based violence. I'm sure you will notice that I'm in orange, and we flag off the International Day against Rape and Gender-Based Violence all over the world 2 days ago. Today is the third day, and we enjoin all men and women of goodwill to say no to rape and gender-based violence. Women must learn to remain strong and learn to believe in themselves and know that life without a man is not hopeless. Once again, I thank you and God bless. I thank all the speakers. I thank the participants and all our single mothers. Please stay strong and be happy. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. We're grateful to have you, and we ask God to bless you in your ministry and continue to keep you and your family well and happy. And may you never be discouraged in this difficult task that has been given to you. God bless 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 you. Thank you once again. Thank you once again. Thank you once again. Sincerely, thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope that the Honorable Minister for Women's Affairs continues to listen to us, because sometimes we start the mistakes against women from government policies. For instance, one of the things that is very deep in my heart right now is the invasion of the domestic space by work. It is fine. When we wanted to take the house to the office said no. Now the office has taken the office into the house without our permission, and we are saying nothing. It's time to negotiate. If it's the new normal, this is the center of where we as women operate. As single mothers, it will be very stressful. You know? So we need to negotiate. The workplace cannot enter our homes and say, it is fine. They will stay there until, you know, whatever. So the women are running. Because it suits us, it's in our space. We're not beginning to see the invasion. We're not beginning to see the disadvantages, the taking us for granted, the stigmatization of our own space. We are allowing it now because it's offering us some little sugar doses, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. We don't see far. We don't vision for our interests. And to be able to do that, we need more women groups meeting together to say, and that's why Jubi is doing very well. We need to say, what are our issues? And like I'm saying, I'm taking from the last speaker, who is a mental health expert, to say to you, you don't need to get to the point of needing a mental health expert. You can stop it. So we're at the point of the mental capital. If you deliberately walk into, and this is both for men and for women, you deliberately walk into situations where you make fear, you make anger, and you make sadness the fare that you are going to eat in that situation, then you have created a mental capital that will definitely make you depressed. When I was doing research, I went to the Yaba mental home, and I discovered that more than half the women who were there were put there by some marital issue. Something to do with either they are single, they can't cope, no this, no that, always to do with themselves. In that area that life matters to them. Life matters to us in the area of attachment. Therefore, if we're going to attach to anyone, we should shine our eyes very well. Men are achievement-oriented. Women are attachment-oriented. And because we're attachment-oriented, that baby, that is it. She's carrying her baby now. No father that has a brand new baby, even if there's no mother, will come to a conference with that child. Very few men introduce themselves in terms of the number of children they have. Women always do. That immediately tells you who you are. Become who you are. Who you are is an attachment-oriented person. People you attach yourself matter to you. Therefore, attach yourself to people who would give you emotional capital, not emotional toxicity. You don't want emotional toxins. You want a capital. So it's important that we start by making the choices that take us away from stigmatization. I was at a meeting. It was in a village, and it had to do with, you know, developing the family house and all that. And when I came into the meeting, the men in the gathering said to me, what are you doing here? This is a discussion for men, and you are here. I looked at them and I said, it has to do with the patrimony of my father, so I have to be here as well. And they said, a person who does not have a name does not attend meetings with men. Do you know what that means? It means that I'm not answering my maiden name. Therefore, I don't have a name. And that later on, even if this my husband dies, I still don't know who I will be. I will marry somebody else and still change name. So in my lifetime, I can change name 3 times, meaning I have identity crisis. And therefore, since they think I have identity crisis, I don't qualify to sit with men who only have one name. Have you seen stigmatization? Would it have occurred to you that anybody would say that? I never heard of such a thing before. That because I changed my name, I have no identity, I'm in an identity crisis, and therefore I don't qualify to sit with people who know who they are from the beginning. Now, these are subtle things. Last week I gave a talk to single women, and one girl who was married said that she's not sure when the driver comes into the car and says, "Good morning, sir," and she's in the car. Is he greeting her as well, including her in the sir, or is she not? Little ways of saying, I worked here before, and I had a young man who was a cleaner, and the admin officer was a woman. So one day he came to him and said, she said I didn't do this thing well. How can she be talking to me like that? I have her mate at home. I said, you have her mate at home? This girl went to Queen's College. Did your wife go to Queen's College? This girl went to the University of Lagos. This is our manager. Did your wife go to the University of Lagos? He said, no. I said, how is she the mate of your wife? In other words, what he's saying is, I am higher than you. I have married your kind. These kinds of social stigmatization, I sacked him immediately. Because it's the only way he could learn that in the workplace, there is no male superiority. Male superiority is only in the family. And it's not even superiority. The Catholic Church teaches equality of the spouses. But because there cannot be a ship without a captain, the husband is the captain, but his wife is the co-captain, a pilot and a co-pilot. And science is now saying that men think with the right brain and women think with the left brain. That means that each of them bring different attitudes to a problem. If a man resolves a problem with his brain alone, it will be half solution, and vice versa. And this is why we must ask, even in everywhere we are, that there should be a good mix of men and women. This now tells you that when a woman is running a home, mental capital she requires that's not there has to be made up. How is she going to make up for the mental capital she needs? How is she going to help herself? The gentleman here said so. Socialize. Use your socializations. Check yourself. There are little boys here. They need a father figure. They need an uncle figure. It is right for them to have men that they relate with so that they can be men. We as women should not say, I'm a single mother, so I don't need a man. No, that's not the point. The point is that you need that social capital for your mental health. You don't have to depend on it as if without it you die. Some of these skills we can also learn. We can acquire the skills that we learn and use our attachment capacity to give ourselves good mental wellness. I have heard Uju's story and I commend her a great deal. It is true that single mothers have a problem in terms of the social capital, the mental capital, and the physical capital. It is easier for 2 people to think than for one. And so that already is a okay? So find someone. Let the single mothers find someone. All we're talking about here, the topic you gave me is about stigmatization. But I hate talking about negativities and toxicities. I prefer to talk about the better part because she added on the topic the dignity. And I would like, it's a dignity I'm dwelling on right now. The dignity of finding your capital. There is no other way. We live in a world where you must have physical capital. You must have a home. You must be able to pay your rent. Don't keep waiting and depending for a man to do that. Number two, you need mental or social capital. For us, social capital is our connections. Because of who we are, we want to get married. So do men. Don't think that men don't want to get married. There's a kind of thing that we've been saying in the world. We're socializing men into the non-married state. And we are paying the price by having bad leaders. A man who is not a good father can never be a good governor. Can never be. Who is not a good husband can never be. These are apprenticeships for being that thing, for having social capital. And so, ladies, our dignity is in our hands. No one can empower us. Only we can empower ourselves by changing our mindsets, rebooting our systems, deciding that, okay, if I don't get married, my social capital is not killed. I can have new social capitals. That is what Uju has done. She finds something that she cares for, that she's passionate about, and she attaches to it. This thing that even if she were not doing this because of being single mother, I think that Uju would have been involved in something passionate at some point of her life. And this is the truth about all of us women. We are passionate for attachment. Sit down and find out, what is this thing I can give my life to? Something that I love doing, something I'm passionate about, someone I'm attached to. It can be a group of women, it can be anything. It can be even your children. But I want to say that stigmatization has no place where the woman recognizes that she has to work for her physical capital, her mental capital, and her social capital. Ignorance is what is putting women where they are. Any woman you see having mental health issues, or anybody for that matter, even a man, it is because we have not checked what we really need. And so important is for us to sit down and say, today as we finish this program, what have I picked up? I have picked up that I need to ask myself, what are my attitudes about my physical capital? How do I know whether I am sad or depressed? You are sad and depressed. You are mentally unbalanced. If you are 50% of the time in fear, in anger, or in sadness, you wake up, you don't want to wake up every morning, your heart is down. You want to go to the kitchen, you get there, you don't feel like eating. You sit down, you want to do some work, nothing. You look at your economy, no money. The whole day you are living 70% in sadness. By the time you live like that, in sadness, fear, and anger, 50-60% of the time, trust me, you will have mental health issues. And women are doing this to themselves. When you begin to notice you are in these areas, sit up and say, why am I sad? Get a pen and a paper and write, mind map what you are saying. Why am I sad? What can I do about it? The thing about God is that we as individuals and human beings have been given capacity to get out of any negativity in which we find ourselves. That's fact. To put it in Nigerian parlance, God will not send you to the farm without giving you a hoe. He will not send you to the world without giving you innately, inherently, what you need to live where you are. most people don't necessarily need a degree or anything to live. There are many, my grandmother, wealthy woman, she never went to school for day one, but she was very wealthy. They lived by the river, and so she became a fish wholesale seller of fish. Started smoking it in her house and became the wholesaler for smoked fish, and raised all her children. She had 8 of them. 4 of them were educated abroad with money from her fish farm. So we have it. Don't sit down and say, I have no degree, I have no this, I have no... Sit down. You have what it takes. Women, you do. Trust me. It's just that we don't sit down to say, how do I strategize on myself? And I'd ask you to have these strategy sessions for women, because we do need it. We need a time when we strategize. Women are also, we have a downside. We are very, because as much as we are attachment-oriented, we hate the fact that we are attachment-oriented, and we don't like women ourselves. Yet, our best friends are actually women. They have gone through this, we can share with them. I used to cry out a lot when my husband, every day when we were younger, he would be going to one young thing or the other where young men empower themselves by sharing their experience. And I said to him, women are not having these things. He said, is it men now stopping women from having it? And I had to say, no. So women, up and arise and get your dignity for yourself. Thank you.
Get your dignity for yourself. Nobody helps you without you. Thank you very much. Once again, let's put our hands together for Dr. Mrs. Bridget Esweli. Yes, our next speaker is Reverend Father Pascal Anionye. Please put your hands together for Father Pascal.
Good day, everybody. I stand on the existing protocol. Indeed, it's an honor and a privilege to be part of this foundation and part of what is going on. A Jew has been quite an inspiration, and today she celebrates her birthday and decided to organize something that she's passionate about, to see about her, other single mothers as she has been through the thick, through the darkness, and having seen light. She feels the need on her birthday, as she celebrates, to also celebrate these single mothers for what they have been doing, trying to survive, to live above the water and not get drowned. This is commendable. When you met me about being part of the Jubike Foundation, I willingly accepted because it's something that we both have in common. She is a sister, and I'm grateful and thankful that she is my sister. I today asked to talk about the spiritual side of all this. The last speaker, Dr. Mrs. Bridget Esweli, spoke about the fact that when we are in this state, that God has given us the capacity to rise above every situation. One thing that I'm known for, that people who are close to me would say, that Pascal will always say, there is nothing that the human spirit cannot conquer. When God decided to create the universe, to create the world, he already had finished the deal. No one is an accident. In Ephesians 1:4, St. Paul says, he chose us before the foundation of the world. In Matthew 25, verse 34, Christ at the final judgment says, come, blessed of my Father, receive the kingdom prepared for you before the foundation of the world. It's not that because you did this and this and that, and it was already prepared for you before the foundation of the world. In the Beatitudes in Matthew 5:48, Christ says, be ye perfect, as the Heavenly Father is perfect. The Greek translation for perfect, another translation is whole. And it's not saying become, be what you already are. And so when we come into the world, we get affected by the circumstances. As we grow out of childhood, we begin to lose our zest for life. I see Rex, the younger brothers, always being playful and nothing matters. And this is how God wants us to be. Christ says, be like little children. It is to these that the secrets of the kingdom of God are revealed. Right? And this is how God made us to be playful, to be joyful, to be filled with awe and wonder, like, wow. But as we leave childhood, we begin to lose all that and begin to live in what the last speaker just told us, in fear, in sadness, and in anger. We get angry because we're not getting the things that we thought we should have. We live in fear because we probably become petrified. What will happen to me? We are sad because we feel that no one cared about us. But going back, we have to go back to the original state. That when we were created, God said that everything was good. And so when Christ died, before he died in John 16, John 14, 15, 16, Christ expounds and tells us, you will do even greater works than I do. Your marriage breakdown, or that you didn't get married, you got pregnant from a man you trusted and thought you were going to get married to, or that you got abandoned by this person, doesn't change what God planned for you. And this is where the GBK Foundation is trying to, in its transformative education, is trying to make people realize that your circumstance don't define you. You are above every circumstance. And that if you begin to transform the way you think, to change your mindset, to rewire your brain, the science of neuroplasticity tells us this, that as we begin to think differently from how we've thought, and dump those thoughts, those ways of thinking that dispossess us, that make us incapacitated, that are negative, that are toxic, as we begin to change all that, to put them aside, and begin to think, I can make it, I can. Gradually you see that all that was put in you by God from the beginning begins to emerge. There is nothing that you cannot do. The scriptures make it clear. There's nothing impossible for God. And because we are part of God, there's nothing that we too cannot do. Because what God can do, we can also do. Christ said that you will do even greater works than I do. So the problem is not God. When Cassius is examining and talking about how Caesar had risen, his meteoric rise, Cassius told Brutus, they fought, my dear Brutus, not our staff, but with us, that we are underlings. The speakers, the mental health speaker and Mrs. Israeli have told us to find support groups. The GBK Foundation is trying to create support groups. It's not about find your inner strengths. Let us work together. Find and ensure that the reason why you were created is not trampled underfoot or forgotten, or that you don't go anywhere because of what happened to you. It's an accident. Maybe you've learned your lessons. You've realized, oh, it was me. Or you take responsibility for the part in all that happened. But see, life has not ended. Let's get on, move on. And it's moving on, now having a team, or having a support system, people that are like you, who believe that that whatever has happened to you is not a death sentence. And so we're providing this, as counselors, as we're having experts from all over. The doctor, the mental health doctor, has also told us that they're also available with free consultation. If you want to talk to someone, if you need that help, Dr. and Mrs. Bridget Ichueli has been doing this. So there are many others in the US, abroad. We have all these experts to help you if you want to talk sometimes. Then not just that, fellow single mothers, to unburden, to share. And then you find that you can pray better, that that people, when you go to bed, you're not going to bed feeling nobody's thinking about me. Look at what I'm going through, suffering in silence. You go to bed knowing that there are people who, if you don't call them for 2 days, they will check on you. Okay, are you okay? That is what we need. That is the spirituality that we at UBK Foundation is bringing to the world. Nobody is whole, nobody is perfect, nobody is complete. But together we can make it. We should not leave anybody to suffer alone. We must make the world a better place. Make it more human, make it more humane, and less of fighting and quarreling. Before this started, somebody sent a text, I'm not a single mother, so I won't join. I felt that was insensitive. So it doesn't concern you what is happening to single mothers. It doesn't concern you what is going about their children. I'm not a single mother, so it doesn't concern me. Some men also said, it's about women now, that it doesn't concern them. These attitudes have to change. Nobody is an island. We cannot exist alone. The earlier we realize that I cannot be unless you are, and neither can you be unless I am. And we're all caught in this common web, of human destiny. My good is your good. Your bad is my bad. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. This is the spirituality that I want to propose. And as I get out of my own rut, my own darkness, I lift other people also with me. As I reach my highest capacity as a person, I encourage other single mothers, other boys, other girls to also reach theirs as well. This is the spirit. This is spirituality. It's not enough to be saying the rosary or going to the Blessed Sacrament or saying all the Bible passages. It is realizing that we are together in this journey. And as I grow interiorly and deeply and spiritually, my sister, my brother also needs to grow the same way. So this is what we are proposing. This is what we are doing. And I encourage all single mothers. I've watched their videos. I hope you can see them. But you are not alone. You are not alone. We'll do what we can. There are plenty of people who want to support. People have donated. You would, we'll speak about that later. But the important thing is not about the money. It's about the togetherness. We form small cells wherever, Abuja, Kafanchan, of single mothers, so that you know yourselves. Those who are able to have their cell phones can as well join the online community. But let nobody feel that you are abandoned. God loves you and will never abandon you. May God bless you through Christ our Lord.
Thank you very much, Father, for giving us the spiritual perspective to the subject matter. We're now going Zoom, as we have one of our resource persons ready to also impact our own share of the knowledge on us. He is a social entrepreneur, etiquette coach, humanistic counselor, and peace advocate. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Lady Jane Ndukwe.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to start on the existing protocol. I am Lady Jane Ndukwe and I'm joining you from Enugu. Thank you to all the brilliant speakers before me. So much information, useful information to take away. Okay, and before I proceed, may I use this opportunity to wish you a very happy birthday and God's abundant blessings. Thank you for this lofty initiative that is giving a voice to single mothers. I have been asked to speak on the topic, living a fulfilling life. Okay, please can you hear me now? Okay, right. I have been asked to speak on the topic living a fulfilling life as a single mother. The life of a single mother is a hard and lonely one, and if not well managed, can lead to a life full of regrets and bitterness. I was once married to a man I loved dearly, who unfortunately did not love me back. This resulted in psychological and emotional abuse, which led me to depression and near suicide attempt. My children and I suffered untold hardship, ranging from homelessness to poverty, hunger, and more abuse from outsiders. My daughter was bullied in school because the other students realized that her daddy did not live with us. My son suffered insomnia and was filled with rage at the hardship we were subjected to. Today, I stand before you all, a woman who was once abused, but now filled with strength and courage to live life abundantly. So, what changed my story? First, I received counseling and later studied counseling at Barnsley College. The counseling sessions helped me to rediscover myself and rebuild my battered self-esteem. And from then, I began to allow myself enjoy the simple things of life, such as listening to good music, chatting with people, and daring to make eye contact when being spoken to. I celebrated each progress I made and promised myself that I would never allow anyone to put me down again. Self-discovery helps you to identify your gifts, strengths, values, and even your weaknesses. Knowing that I had some good qualities gave me hope and joy. I wrote these qualities down and put the list above my bed and reading desk. This helps me to internalize these gifts and work towards exhibiting them. Identifying my core values helped shape my lifestyle and choices. Today, I have published 6 books. I have a daily radio broadcast, Etiquette Matters, on Coal City FM 92.9, which promotes civility and peaceful coexistence. I teach etiquette and ethics for relationship building. I enjoy what I do because they align with my core values. You cannot find yourself without finding God and recognizing that He is all you need. A fulfilling life is possible for a single mother, provided that you make God your center and you reacquaint you with your true self. Nothing erodes peace of mind faster than living someone else's life and trying to please them. Having said this, I want to emphasize the need to forgive the one or ones try not to expect much from people. That way, you will not be disappointed when they don't measure up. Make choices based on your core values. This will give you peace and joy. Give to people in need, not just of your substance, but also your knowledge and experience. Love humanity enough to want to make this world a better place. As you sow seeds of peace and love, you shall be surrounded by help and good fortune. Never pay evil with evil. Revenge only brings more pain and never true joy. Build deep and lasting relationships. This can only come when you are true to yourself, just as some of the speakers before me have said. And when you are true to yourself, you shall attract persons similar to you. Give and accept love. This way to love your children, friends, family, or the endeavor you have chosen for yourself, just as this endeavor that you has chosen for herself. Be accountable. Take responsibility for your actions rather than make excuses or blame others and situations. When you make a mistake, simply own up to this. Learn three lessons and make better choices next time. Do not dwell on the mistake so as not to go down the slippery slope of self-pity or even depression. Be mindful of your actions. Try not to deliberately hurt people. And if you do hurt people, apologize and make amends. When you live life simply, you will experience true joy, peace, and fulfillment. Seek to improve yourself. There's always a lesson each day. When you live life consciously, you will make minimal errors. Register for personal development classes. There's never an end to learning. Someone's perspective may throw light at a better way of dealing with an issue, and this becomes progress for you. It is your responsibility to chart your path and be happy. As you do this, you will realize that you seldom need many people around you, but the few well-meaning people who will form your support network. Improve your looks. Drop the dull and dreary clothes you wore when you were broken and disillusioned. Wear things that suit the new you. Make yourself beautiful for you. Dress the way you wish to be addressed. Choose not add value to you. This also includes the people you spend much of your time with and the things you listen to. As you wake up each morning, devote at least 30 minutes to read the word of truth, communing with your Creator, and practicing silence. This will help you become calm and build inner strength. As a single man, your strength and positivity will give your children the confidence to soar high. Choose to rise above the stereotype of waywardness and a life of crime attributed to single parenthood. Inculcate values in your children, and you will enjoy raising them. Therefore, let go of the past. Move on courageously, and the right doors shall open up for you, bringing you joy and fulfillment. There's so much that lies ahead of you, and I am speaking from experience. When my husband drove my children and I away, my daughter was just 2 years old. My son was only 5 years old. Today, my son is 22 years old, and my daughter is nearly 19 years old. I chose to survive. It wasn't easy, but I chose to survive and be there for these children who had suffered unduly from the absence of their father. So you can do the same. You can have a fulfilled life. You can be joyful. You can ascribe to any height. It is possible. And this is the message I bring to every single mother today. Thank you for listening.
achieve their goal and their dreams. Please, one more time, let's put our hands together for Lady Jane Ndukwe. I did say earlier on that there's this young man. I use the word man because when you see him, you're seeing a boy. But I tell you what is inside. What manifests is that of a man. And that goes to say, no look what they write for moto, enter moto. And whether we like it or not, even the boy's mom has testified that what happened actually happened, but this is a testimony that gives her more reason to appreciate God, that even what happened in a way did happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Master Rex Chidera Idoko, the son of the convener and the founder of Joby Care Foundation.
Before I begin my speech, Before I begin my speech, I'd like to say happy birthday to my mom, and I'd like to congratulate her for this Juby Care Foundation project that's been going on for a long time for single mothers all over the world. For a number of years, my mom, my brothers, and I have felt the pain and the struggle of a broken home. To be abandoned, forgotten, and rejected by your father and paternal relations is not a happy experience. But that is what so many children face in this society. When our mom and dad are breaking up, we become victims of the emotional backlash between them. We are neglected, rejected, and in most cases, we are abandoned by our dad. We are confused about our identity and the struggle mommy has to go through to raise us all alone. I struggle to understand why my dad will abandon and leave the responsibility of raising my brothers and me for my mom alone. This is the plight of so many children today in this society. Often, children from broken homes are unable to fulfill their biggest dreams because of lack of care, finances, and emotional instability. What then is the future of these children facing grave struggles today? One of my biggest challenges is having the freedom to express how I truly feel without being shut out to say, Rex, he's your father. Rex, he's your grandma. Rex, he's your elder. I am yet to be convinced that evil is justified when it's your elder, your mom, your dad, or your grandparents. From my Bible knowledge, evil is evil, no matter who is involved in the act. As I grow up into a responsible young man, rather than dwell on what has happened in the past, my mom has encouraged us to focus on the fact that God sent us here no matter what has happened. Our lives have a meaning and a purpose to fulfill. Certain things are not within our control, but we can determine how our lives turn out. And with God on our side, we will always succeed. Yes, all we owe God is to be responsible, keep focused, and work hard at school, and God will do the rest. With all that has happened to me, I personally have discovered my mission, which is to accompany and help heal broken and damaged children due to abuse, neglect, and poor parenting. Children are gifts from God to the world, and I call to all fathers, religious leaders, and the clergy to reach out to children from broken homes. They don't have to be your biological children before they deserve your care. Your provision, love, and care help them reach their fullest potentials and will help them and teach them to do the same to others when they become adults. That is why I am studying, making grades, and taking my studies seriously, because I'd like to study science at Harvard University in the United States. I have written 2 books. I wrote the first one when I was 7 years old, titled Moral Lessons from Bible Stories. The second will be published on my birthday, January 3rd. It is titled Character Building for Teens. It contrasts good versus bad characters and encourages one to choose the good. The proceeds from my books, talks, and awards I donate to raising the less privileged kids through the Juby Care Foundation. To all those from broken homes, those who are abandoned, those who have no one to run to every evening shouting, Daddy, Daddy's back. To those who have no one to cry to when they get bullied at school or when life gets tough. To those who hurt as they watch mommy strive to put food on their table. I say, courage, and turn to God, the Creator, for your healing and comfort. Don't ask me how hard it is, because I know how hard it can be. Yes, I have been there. Imagine having written a book at the age of 7 and excitedly telling my dad to publish it for me. He says he will not have anything to do with it, that my mom should figure it out by herself. I remember trekking with my mom to source loans and funds to publish that book. Thank God for the gift of my mom who made sure that book was published. Imagine your dad parking a car in the village without anyone using it and leaving my brothers and me to trek to school and to church every day. These are the hard truths I live with. That while I'm being raised up by my guardian, my hero, and my mom, that my biological dad knows nothing about me or my dreams. So I want to use this occasion to encourage children like me from broken homes to never forget that they matter and their lives have a meaning and a purpose to fulfill. As Father Pascal would say, there is nothing that the human spirit cannot conquer. And you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. I will always remember the words of Max Ehrmann in the Desiderata. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. Never let anyone make you think that you don't matter, because you do matter. As God says in Isaiah 43 verse 4, I will give up the whole nations to save you, for you are precious in my eyes. Courage! Never give up. Thank you.
I wish I was this brilliant. Wow. Everything is said, word for word, is found on page 15, or page 14 to 15 of the brochure or the magazine. If you go through it, everything is said. But interestingly, I think he's about the only speaker, permit me to say, that never used a transcript before him. Please put your hands together for this young boy. I like the uniqueness of it because his own direction is from the children's perspective. We've had the medical perspective, we've had the spiritual, we've had the socio-economical, we've had, which of course deals on stigmatization and the like. So his own perspective as a child, in fact, is more like crowning it all. Please, one more time, I beg, let's appreciate him. And I hope that his parting word, courage, never give up, begins to resonate in our minds. Even as men, I'm saying even as men because oftentimes you can see that he's angry at us. So let's begin to put things right, please, in our own unique ways. Yes, let's put things right. So on that note, we are moving on to the panel discussion where his father finally set to... All right, we have just been told that we should suspend that part because of time. But before we go into the celebration, we actually had the very important part of it. Let's give the opportunity to our participants. Is there one or two questions they would like to ask? Maybe some clarity. Let's have your question, if at all there is. Those online are permitted to ask one or two questions, if any. I think it's important. We all should not just come, listen, and say, oh, they have all spoken well, okay. And I think there's need for one or two clarification or question. Yes, thank you. Your name and question.
Okay, my name is Lucy Samuel from Daily Independent. Now, please, I want to know in regards to this course, what has been the challenges so far? And what would you like or need that the government do in pursuing this course?
Thank you. How can the government play their role to bring about a halt to this menace? Who else is asking the question? Or do we have anybody online? Any question online? Any other question? Or maybe we leave our resource persons to answer this. Probably because of answering that question, we can develop more questions. I think that to the celebrant. Okay.
What's your name again? Lucy. Okay. So Lucy, for me, personally, it's the fact that the world goes on and I'm not being remembered. I'm not being noticed. That's the first thing. Because first of all, someone needs to notice that you exist to think about what to do for you. And the part of the government, if the government will be able to support these women by passing a bill that will enforce child support for the women, the way it's done in developed countries. They don't have to really give these women money like that, but the parent of the children involved has to take responsibility. We don't have to start fighting about it. And they can do this through their offices or through their businesses. It's a very easy thing to do, which is what we're also working at, that if they can push it, a woman shouldn't have to suffer catering for her children, because there's enough emotional trauma separating from marriage or a marriage coming to an end. So if the concentration should be more on working yourself from the heartbreak, not on catering for your children. In fact, the past few weeks, listening to the mothers, the single mothers, you see that most of them are like, they are lost. It's like, I want money, I want money, I want money. And why are they looking for money? Because they have children to take care of. So if that burden is taken away from them, that would be great. And that's what we're pushing also. The Minister of Women Affairs, she will work with us, and we'll see how far that can go. That we begin to look at what other countries did to get to where they are today. And then we begin to do that one step at a time. But apart from that, this is on the part of the government. Individually, we can begin to form groups to support. If anything you can do to support these women, reach out to us. It could be a video you will send out and it will empower the woman. It could be a business skill. It could be a designing skill, whatever. We have so many of them who are passionate about one thing or the other, so that when they are empowered personally, of course, the burden of finances won't even be much. Because I know that there are so many women who are very hardworking. I was tearing up hearing a lot of, I think some of them are here, who have good handwork. They are ready to work. It's just that they don't know where to start. In fact, they've not even been recognized that they exist. And they want to find their center. They want someone to accompany them. They want someone to say that what you're doing is right. And I think one of us here who was advised to take the children back to the parent, please don't, to the dad, please don't do that. For a man to walk out on his children is a sign that he won't even be able to take care of the child in the first place, even if you forcefully leave the child to that. Keep making the sacrifice. It will worth it in the end. I listened to Rex speak, and yes, I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is my child. It's not easy. It's a battle. It's a struggle, but we'll get there.
Thank you. Any other question? From our online viewers or participants, any question? All right. I think it will be nice that we have the president of the CW from Church of Transfiguration here, VGC, and the subject matter affects women. And I don't know if you have any submission on this. If you'd like to just throw in a word or two on all we have said, but if not, no problem. We can oblige you. Please. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Ejiro Imafidon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like I told the Jew that I am not professional in this area, but that since Mrs. Isueli is going to be here and some other professionals, I'm actually coming to participate, to learn, so that I can, in any which way, empower my women more in my own little way. So I think I have really learned a lot today. But one small experience I want to share. That's my we call ourselves sisters because we all grew up together, and we have a very close friend when we were growing up together back in Warri, had a child. And of course, back there where we grew up, single parenthood wasn't news, it wasn't taboo, it was common. What this particular girl's story, a very close friend, she had a child for somebody who disappointed her, and thank God she was about heading to university when it happened. She gave the child to her parents, and off to university she went. She graduated, came back, and this man that disappeared showed up and wanted her at all costs, offered her so much goodies, for lack of a more appropriate word to use. Oh, I will buy you a car. Of course, he had money. I'll buy you a car. I will rent this for you. I will do that. I'm going to put the child in one of the best schools. I will get you a house, a keeper, and a nanny. I will do this for you. I'll do that. I'll do that. And at a point, she was like, should I? Shouldn't I? We're like, she advised herself because we were looking at her. Are you out of your mind? And then she said, you know what? I can't live my life like this. This is deceit. Coming a second time, I won't live like this. Sorry, all of your offer is a no. I'm not dealing. And then the guy said, okay, if you are not accepting my offer, then you are going to take care of that child by yourself. And she said, fine. She didn't have a dime. But she said, with her parents alive, it's not a problem. She will strive. Cut long story short, to the glory of God, she got married years later, had other children, doing very well, and I mean very well. She's doing very well. And that child too also is doing well. The child is a girl. The child is outside the country, doing well. So I'm narrating this so that we will. I'm saying we now, women, will be strong. Will be strong. If you find yourself in any of these challenges and situations, and especially that temptation to go back, if nothing has changed significantly, please don't fall for that trap. Don't be lured with some pennies and some so-called goodies. Say, oh, no. If you are going to go back to that person, put everything you need to put in order to check that there is genuine change and that your going back will not be more hot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we now ask the celebrant to please rise to cut our cake. It's her birthday. Members of the table will just move the chairs backward a little and then move this closer to you. So she's going to cut the cake right about now, after which we sing a happy birthday song. The children, please.
Forcefully took me from my fatherland, in chains of pain to a land so far, far away to misery, to the freezing cold cotton field of slavery. By the older night I had a dream that tomorrow I will be free. By the older night I had a dream
course, invoking the Trinity is asking God Almighty to continue to give you the strength to pull through. Are we ready? Are we ready? So, you cut this cake in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's put your hands together for the celebrant. Congratulations and happy birthday. So we sing. For she's a jolly good
took me from my fatherland, in chains and pain, to a land so far away to misery.
And so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us. For she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. Hip, hip, hip. Hip, hip, hip. All right, so our panelists our speakers will take a nice photograph with her and the cake.
Took me from my fatherland, in chains and pain, to a land so far away the misery, to the freezing cold cotton field of slavery. By the older night I had a dream that tomorrow I'll be free. By the older night I had a dream that tomorrow I will be free. So I'll fight till back home. So I'll fight to find a way home. So I'll fight. This is my freedom in the land of the rising sun. This is my freedom. Not to cross the road I go. Nothing now can hold you down. Nothing now can take me back. I'm home, like I'm home.
We shall quickly do an award presentation. We've got three recipients. This is going to some members of Jubicare Foundation that have performed so well, so exceptional in all of their disposition to the cause of Jubicare. After the awards, we'll pop the wine. We'll do a toast after the awards presentation. So we've got
birthdays are once in a year, and somehow you just have this joy over you.
so we'll keep this.
You feel so happy, you feel so blessed. You just wake up and then you wasn't looking forward to seeing that it's your day. You be like, oh, it's my birthday. The joy that God has kept you up to now, and then He has assured you that you're also going to have more years ahead. It's worth celebrating. And
I will request Chaplain, our spiritual director, to help with presenting this award of honor presented to Mr. Anthony Tabo Okoye. Mr. Anthony, would like you to please step forward to receive this award of honor for your exemplary distinction in leadership, exceptional contributions to the society, and for your outstanding service to humanity by Jubicare Foundation. Mr. Anthony Tabo, could you to receive your award? Okay. Okay, Father has asked that Mrs. Ejiro Imafidon should help present this on behalf of Jubicare Foundation.
So this award in Jubike Foundation, so awesome. And Tabu, I just want to appreciate you. It's in our nature to appreciate ourselves in the little work we are doing, any milestone, the smiles we put on people's faces to encourage ourselves. It is to say thank you, Tabu, that you are an exceptional being. You know, having you in our team is being a blessing. You are never money conscious. You're always there to serve. And I will tell you that this will take you far. We are grateful. We are grateful. We are grateful.
Thank you. Madam, we still have another you'll help us present. This is going to Mrs. E.G. Ohuma Margaret. Mrs. E.G.
She has also been a darling sister. You can't imagine what happens in Jubike Foundation behind the curtain. She's a great woman of service. You can never catch her wanting. She's always there to serve. She will serve and outdo you, even when you want her to do anything. She would beat your expectation. Mrs. CG, we just want to appreciate you. You see, we know that it's not easy to even appreciate people because you're being nice, you're doing what you're doing, and nobody is even recognizing that you're doing it. But it is our thing in Jubike Foundation to appreciate God. And Mrs. CG, we say you've won our heart. Your hard work will never be in vain. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yes. Would like the founder, okay, so thank you, Mrs. Imafido, to do justice to the other awards as we invite Reverend Father Pascal Anyoye, OFM, to please step forward and receive his award of honor.
Father, we say a big thank you to you. You are a blessing to us at Jubike Foundation. Your work, your contributions, your advice, you're always being there each time we call you. We cannot thank you enough, but we can only say we are grateful, we appreciate you. May God continue to bless you and expand your knowledge to continue to impute in Jubike Foundation. Thank you so much, Father. We really, really, really appreciate all you do in Jubike Foundation.
Congratulations, Father. We now ask the founder, the president, and the birthday celebrant of the day to please step forward and be appreciated. One thing is to be inspired to do good. Another is to dispose yourself to do that good.
How much more do we have to say about you, Uju? It's great. It's been an exciting time knowing you. It's been a beautiful history so far. And working with you in the Jubike Foundation, we at the Jubike Foundation want to say thank you for all the immense contributions you've made to humanity, to the lives of people, not just your children. You've touched many children, thousands of men and women, in your counseling, in your effort, in your outreaches, and so we want to give this award to you to say thank you and keep working. And the reward, remember always that the reward of hard work is to keep working. More work. Congratulations on your birthday also.
Congratulations, Ju. We only met last year when we were preparing for the Christmas Carol in our parish, Catholic Church of the Transfiguration, VGC, and you were like a savior because the person we had baton to train us, the women, didn't show up, and we kept calling, and the person kept posting us, and then you showed up, and you did beautifully well, and we became first. Spart, your witness. So It's been on my mind that we'll reconnect. Later I found out that you are related to Father Pascal. I'm like, wow. So I'm really, really very happy. We appreciate you. I didn't know about this. When you told me about this just about a few weeks ago, my mind was blown away. You had that burden in the past, but you were able to come out of it and be available to do for others. The Lord will increase you. Amen. Mightily. These your children will reach heights that you never imagined. In the mighty name of Jesus.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. So it's about time we pop the champagne. And as we pop the champagne, before you leave, you definitely be served tiger nut mixture. Tiger nut. This is produced by Jubi Care Foundation, and they produce the ones to assist women, deserving women we've talked about today. So please, for your private engagement, your private parties, even where you work, end of year get together is coming up soon. Oh, thank you. So at the sound of that, yeah, we've popped it already. So let's have it. Okay, let's have the toast. Please make sure you're served or you have a sip of it. So like I was saying, if you need that for your event, housewarming, child dedication, and all sort of celebrations, please get in touch with Jubi Care. Why it is important you get in touch with Jubi Care is that they will render that service for you. Of course, you'll pay for it, but the proceeds, remember, is used to empower women. The more reason you should patronize Jubi Care Foundation. All right, so I hope we all have our glasses filled. Oh, Father, thank you. Okay, so let's raise our glasses as we toast. This is the birthday celebration of the celebrant, and this event is birthing a conference that is very, very unique, a conference that's less. And what the voiceless we're talking about women who need to be empowered as a result of single parenting. So we pray and raise our glasses to good health of mind and body, to progress, positive achievement of Jubi Care in all of its endeavor. Hip, hip, hip. Cheers.
Took me from my fatherland, in chains of pain to a land so far.
Cheers.
So once again, far away the misery, to the freezing cold cotton field of slavery. But the whole night I had a dream that tomorrow I will be free. But the whole night I had a dream that tomorrow I will be free. So I fight till back home. So I fight to find a way. This is my freedom in the land of the rising sun. This is my freedom. Let's across the dark ocean. Nothing else can hold me down. Nothing now can take me back. And home, and home, back home, and home.
And as you go, may you go in peace and safe.
Thank you also for thanking us. Let's give her a round of applause, please. Yes, we will have two things to enjoy as we take refreshment before our leave. First is the goodwill messages from those who are not here already. It's going to pop up on the screen now. After that, we enjoy the song as composed by the celebrant herself. Thank you and happy listening.
So birthdays are once in a year, and somehow you just have this joy over you, like you feel so happy, you feel so blessed. You just wake up, and then even looking forward to seeing that is your day, you be like, oh, it's my birthday. The joy that God has kept you up till now, and then He has assured you that you're also going to have more years ahead. It's worth celebrating, and it's a Thanksgiving week for us over here in the US. And having to celebrate you today, we are glad, we are happy. God bless and keep you, Uju. Have a wonderful day. Have a blessed and filled year ahead. Be good. Just remember me as loving you. Ooh, ooh. Cheers. Peace, babe. Love you.
Happy birthday, Auntie Ju. I wish you long life. I wish you prosperity. I wish you good things of life. I wish you success. I wish you every single thing that is good. And I also pray that you would live long to experience all these good things. You're going to live so old. You live older than your grandma. And I pray that the hand of the Lord will always be upon you. I pray that you will never see the end of His blessings. I pray that whatever you do, you'll be filled with God's wisdom, God's understanding, and in all ways you'll be favored. You're a great person. I love your personality. I know I tell you that almost all the time. And I love the person you are, and keep being great, keep being you. I appreciate every single thing you do and you're doing. And also kudos to raising your boys. It's amazing. You're an amazing person. And I'm so happy that I can call you my aunt. Happy birthday and be long.
Hello, Sister Uju, Auntie Uju. I'm speechless, not express what I think and how I feel about you. All I can say is that it's your birthday, and I wish you a happy birthday. You deserve the best. You deserve everything that's good in life, because you are somebody that has impressed me with your conviction of life and your sense of purpose. I wish you the best, and you keep it up, and keep on inspiring others and working hard to achieve your goal in life. God bless you. I have to do this despite how today has been for me. But I think you deserve it and you deserve more. Hooray, happy birthday. Bye.
Hello. How are you today? Great day for you, Ju. From the beaches of Panama, Marachiquita to be precise, in Colon. This is Brother Odile, Charles Mary, wishing you a happy birthday. May God reward you abundantly now and forever. Amen.
Sweet peas. Hey, I can't thank God enough for you for this celebration of your birthday. Actually, this is a very special day for each one of us, and I'm happy for you that you're seeing another day, talking 1 year on your birthday. I'm very happy for you. I'm happy God blessed me with such a sister like you, with a golden heart. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Always carrying people along, taking care of people, especially at the detriment of your own self. You are such a wonderful person. I love you more than you can even imagine. I'm very happy the way you extend your hand to me, to my family, to your family, to friends. I can't remember, actually I can't remember a lot of things. How as your elder sister I will run to you and you embrace me, like carry me like a baby, and never get tired of taking care of me and taking care of my children. You are a very lovely person. I love you very much. And I want to enjoy your day. If I have my way, I will make it most memorable, as in 1 in a million. I'm happy for you. I pray God that He surrounds you with lovely people, lovely friends. Pray that God keeps on giving you good health. Your children will grow to make you proud on a daily basis. They will not give you headache, even though you believe that boys are tough, but because of your kind of heart, they will not give you tough time. You'll be able to manage them. Everything around you will bring you happiness and joy. I'm wishing you a very, very, very sweet and happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Congrats. Enjoy your day. And God's blessings always.
Happy birthday! Hooray! It's Udazonka's day, man. It's amazing knowing you. Like, knowing you has been a whole lot of a new dimension for me, and with you I've gone to places I never knew I would go to. You are a blessing to this world. You're a blessing to this generation. I bless God for bringing you to us. Happy birthday, ma. And I want to say I love you very much, ma. God bless you.
A very happy birthday to you, Ms. Uju Azonka. May I, on this very special occasion of your birthday, wish you more strength, greater knowledge, peace, and boundless love. So far, you have succeeded in making some of your dreams a wonderful reality, like the dream of sowing sunshine and rainbow in broken hearts, like the dream of sowing love and laughter in souls where sorrow played all parts, like the dream of ensuring that anyone who crosses your path is blessed with thoughtfulness, but not just that, wholeness and a sense of humanity. And in all this, you have remained so humble. My wish for you going forward is that the road ahead be littered so beautifully with petals of colorful roses, so that you may continue to find joy in this noble cause which you have so joyfully undertaken for the sake and betterment of humanity and to the glory of God. A very happy birthday to you. The sky is not your limit, but your starting point. Thank you.
Happy birthday to Miss Uju Azonka. Happy birthday. I wish you good life. I wish you a fulfilled life as well. Happy birthday. Uju Azonka is a brave woman. She's a go-getter. She forgives. She understands. Against all odds. I thank you. I thank God for your life today. I wish you a happy birthday.
Hello. Hey, happy birthday. We sing, love you, God be with you. Yeah, happy birthday, Shua Shua.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, mommy. Happy birthday, John. Sometimes you are a great woman. You are a wonderful mom. You are a mother of all. You are a big auntie. You are a big sister. I wish you many more years and prosperity, long life and good health. You are a great mentor. You are a life changer. You are a great teacher. I wish you everything good in this life. God will bless you. God will enrich you. You are blessed.
Hey girl, happy birthday to you. This is like a surprise to me, but I wish you all the fun, enjoy yourself, and I wish you many more fruitful years ahead. Have fun. Bye.
And to do Happy birthday. I wish you long life and prosperity.
Happy birthday, Miss Uju. I swear I wish you love, favor, above all, peace. And all your endeavors. Once again, happy birthday.
But you gotta get up. I'd rather stand tall, live on my knees, 'cause I am a conqueror, and I won't accept defeat. Try telling me no. One thing about me is I am a conqueror.
Share this moment with me. Thank you. I'm done. I'm done talking. Thank you so much. Pray for us so that we can make it for us.
Let us write. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made. Father, we thank you because you love us, and thank you because you have shown us that with you we can do all things. So thank you for the life of Sister Uju, our mommy, sister, our aunt, our friend. And as we celebrate her birthday today, we ask that you may fill her with your Holy Spirit.
From your fatherland, in Jesus'
May those who are dear to her be filled with your blessings and your peace. Grant her health of mind and body, and be her refuge and consolation in times of distress. Prosper the work of her hands, bless her children, bless all those who are related to her in any way. Father, as they go out, bring them back home safely. We thank you that this day has gone well. Thank you for this. They will launch the single mothers tribe, and ask that you may bless this endeavor. May these women never feel alone. May they never suffer alone. May we awaken consciences to a sense of social responsibility for the children. We thank you because you've endowed us to be us. As people see us, they see you. Bless all those who view and who support this podcast. May we be disciples season and in this coming time. May the birth of your son Jesus bring you great Christ our Lord. The Lord be with you. Bow your heads and pray for God's blessings. May the Lord be above you to bless you. Amen. May he go before you to lead you. Amen. Behind you to guard you. Amen. Around you to protect you. Amen. Within you to keep you. Amen. Let the Almighty God come upon you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Go forth. This ceremony is ended. Thanks be to God.
At the first 3 months of my birth to death, my parents were around to help me, both in finance and in feeding the baby. But presently, I lost them along the way. So I wish to seek for help, both financially and any other work, which can help me put food on our table and also for the school. I believe and I will be glad if I receive any help from you.
I'm Odomi Joma Adlin from Tigise, Imo State. I'm a mom of Emmanuel, 3 years and 7 months old. I found myself in the journey of single motherhood on the 20th of December 2019. So ever since then, I took care of my single-handedly took care of my kid and my unborn baby till I gave birth. Although my parents helped me after I put to bed on the 8th of April 2020, but they urged me to take the kids back to my in-laws place. So I can't bear to leave my kids alone. So I decided to get them. I'm currently living in Lagos State, so I don't have any children, although I learned crochet. I learned how to do crocheting work. But I'm currently serving a lady, taking care of our kids whenever she's not around. But the only thing I can bear is food stuff. I don't earn much money that will take care of my children's education. My baby will be 3 years in December 11, but not yet in school, and I don't have any hope of sending them to school because my people make it clear that they will not train another person's child, and I should take them back and come home. So because of that, I started struggling. I know how to make peanut butter, I can crochet baby blanket, baby glue, and also make various designs with tools. But I can't buy enough tools, equipment that I need for the stuff. So I decided to crochet. The only thing I do is just to run a little fashion for people, very small money, but with that I can't give my kids education. So I'm calling on my fellow single moms to please help give my children a better education, a brighter life, so that they will not suffer as I am suffering. Please, thank you. Here are some of the works that I do. Here is a baby beanie. I can make this cap, no matter the size, no matter the... If I set it up as a business, I know that I'll make much money from it. Here are some of the pom-pom that I do. With this,
You can make various designs ranging from foot mat, center rug. You can use it to make wall decoration. You can use it to make key holders. You can use it to make multiple things. This is what I love making. I love making them so much. I derive joy in everything about wood. Please, my people, I need your help so that I can give a better life to my children. Thank you.